Welcome to a world where the ordinary takes an unexpected turn, where a simple day in the garden can unravel mysteries beyond imagination. Today's story begins with a man named John, whose quiet afternoon of digging uncovers something that defies explanation, something that will leave you questioning what lies just beneath the surface of our everyday lives. If you've ever wondered what secrets the earth might hold, or how one discovery can change everything, then this tale is for you. So settle in, let your curiosity take the lead, and join me as we step into John's world, a place where nothing is quite as it seems. One day, as John was working in his garden, he came across something odd. He was digging a hole when he hit something hard with his shovel, and at first he thought it might be some kind of rock. But when he took a closer look, he realized it was a clump of eggs, but he had no idea how they got there or where they came from. When the police arrived, they started panicking and said something which shocked John to his core. They said, "You shouldn't have seen this. This is not good." John stared at the eggs with his eyes wide in disbelief. He had no idea how they got there or even what animal they came from. He had never seen anything like them before, and he couldn't find any information about them online, so he decided to ask for help. He took a picture of the eggs and posted it on his social media accounts, hoping that someone on the internet would be able to tell him more about this discovery. However, not everyone reacted positively, and soon the picture was deleted. John had no idea what was going on. He was even more confused when the police showed up on his doorstep, saying that he'd made a big mistake. When John found out what they were talking about, he was in complete shock. This was not possible. But what was going on with those eggs? How did they end up in John's garden? And why did the police come for him? But before we start, smash the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our upcoming stories. On one sunny day, John decided to renovate his garden. He had actually wanted to do that ever since he moved into this house, but he simply never found the time for it. And now that he had a couple of days off and nothing better to do, he decided to finally get to it. It was going to be a very special day. He thought about hiring a company to do all the work for him, but in the end, he decided to do it himself. He liked working with his hands. In this way, he would be able to make the garden exactly as he wanted it. However, he had no idea about the discovery he would make while doing so. He started by making a plan and a sketch of how he wanted his garden to be. He carefully measured everything and did some research about the different types of materials that he was planning to use. After this was finished, he was finally ready to begin. The first part of the renovation was actually his favorite. He had to break down his entire garden. He was going to renew absolutely everything, so there was no point in keeping anything. He ripped out all of the plants, threw out the furniture, and smashed the old shed. By the time he was done, an entire day had passed. He stood in his garden and looked around, feeling satisfied. He had done good work today, but it was all still only the preparation. The real work would begin tomorrow. John was excited to continue. The next day, but he still had no idea about the eggs in his garden. The next morning, he went out to buy all the stuff he needed. When he returned, he had a quick breakfast and he went back to work again. He had no need to hurry, but he was just really excited to finally make his dream garden. He prepared everything he would need that day and stored the rest in the garage. He would start by marking where the pool was going to be, and then it was time to dig. He knew it would take a very long time to dig out the entire hole he needed for the pool, but he didn't mind. All the while, he imagined himself having a cocktail on a pool mattress while listening to his favorite music, enjoying the sun. That was going to be amazing. So JN dug and dug all day. The sweat was dripping down his face, but he continued his work. Suddenly, he stopped. He hit something hard in the ground while he was digging, and it caught his attention. He thought it was just some rock or a hard clump of earth. But then, why didn't it fall apart? He tried digging around it, but it seemed to be bigger than he thought at first. He raised an eyebrow and stared into the pool hole he was digging, wondering what it could be. Whatever it was, he would not let it get in his way. If he wasn't able to get it out with the shovel, he would have to try with his bare hands. A part of the rock was visible, and it looked kind of orange or bronze. At first, John thought it was a brick and wondered how it ended up there. As he dug around it, he was finally able to pull the rock out. And when he finally held it in his hands and saw what it was, he gasped. This was definitely not a rock. It were eggs. He brushed the mud off them and determined that there were 4 eggs in total, all clumped together in some kind of chunk. John couldn't wrap his head around it, and he was really confused about all of this, and he had a good reason for it too. These eggs were unlike any eggs he had ever seen before. Well, he had actually only seen chicken eggs before, but still these eggs were huge. He didn't know what he would do if they were to crack and hatch. However, they didn't look like that would happen anytime soon. These eggs were really hard. That explained why they hadn't cracked after John stomped them with his shovel several times. Anyway, he decided to be careful with them. It would be a shame if they broke. John put the eggs away safely in his garage and continued digging. By the end of the evening, when he was done with his work for the day, he went back into the garage and took another look at them. He tried finding some information online, but no matter what website he checked, he didn't come across anything that even remotely resembled the eggs in his garage. However, he was not going to give up on them yet. He had another idea that might help him find out what they are. He took a picture of the eggs and posted it on all of his social media platforms, asking all of his friends and followers if they had any idea what they were. After doing that, he went to bed. He was curious whether he would receive any messages about the eggs, but he would have to wait until tomorrow to see them. He had a cup of coffee and made a nice breakfast. The digging had been very tiring, so he was going to take it slow today. And right in the middle of breakfast, his phone rang. That was weird. He wasn't expecting any call today. But when he looked at the screen, he saw that it was his sister Joanna calling. "Hey, what's up?" he asked her when he picked up the phone. "John, what is going on?" He had no idea what she meant. What? What are you talking about? He would find out soon enough. His sister explained why she was calling, and John's eyes widened in shock. What? How is that possible? Wait, I need to see it. He put his sister on speaker and held the phone in front of him. He checked his notifications, and there were hundreds of them, and they all appeared to be comments on the photos he had posted just the night before. He clicked on one of the notifications, expecting it to take into his post, but he just got an error message. He tried again and clicked on another notification, but again, the same thing happened, and the error popped up on his screen. So John opened the app directly, and that seemed to work. However, when he went to his profile, he saw something he had not expected. He looked for the photo he posted yesterday, but it was gone, and he definitely had not deleted it himself. And he really had posted it because his inbox was full of messages about the eggs, and his sister had seen it too. He decided to ask someone for help. John felt a little bit out of touch with the current technological developments, and he usually asked the kid next door, Elliot, to help him out with stuff like this. Hopefully, he would be able to tell him what had happened to that photo he posted. He rang the bell, but Elliot's mother opened it. He wasn't home right now, but he would come over later to check it out, she told him. So JN went back home and thought about what to do until then. He could check the messages he received. He opened his inbox and was once again blown away by all the people who had contacted him. His inbox completely exploded. But what did all of these people had to say? Would someone among them perhaps be able to tell him more about those eggs? However, John didn't have much time to read all those messages. Before long, the police knocked at his door, and they barged in, asking him about the eggs. As it turns out, they were dinosaur eggs. He had no idea how they ended up in his garden, but the police took them to a science lab to investigate them. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another unbelievable tale like this one.